Bow Hunt or Die is being brought to you by Matthews, Lost Camo, New Archery Products, Tinks, Lone Wolf Portable Tree Stands, Stealth Cam, Carbon Express, Hunter Safety System, Heartland Wildlife Institute, Pine Ridge Archery, and the Can Cooker.
Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Bow Hunt or Die. I'm going to be your host for this show, Justin Zarr. As you can see, Todd's not here right now. He's actually out enjoying a little vacation before hunting season hits. Now with that said, it is the first week of August, which means we've got less than 2 months until the bow opener here in Illinois, and just over a month till bow season opens in a lot of places like Wisconsin, Missouri, and some of the western states, which means it's crunch time for all of us. Now, given that it is crunch time, that means we've been out hanging a lot of tree stands, so we're going to start this show off with me out in northwestern Illinois, hanging some stands and giving you a couple of tree stand safety tips. All right, well, it's Sunday, July 22nd. We're out here at our lease in northwestern Illinois. We haven't been out here since springtime. Mike and I walked all over this place looking for sheds, couldn't find anything, so I'm out here. Got Jeremy's actually running the camera today, and Kenny's with us. Jeremy's my brother-in-law. Kenny hunts with us out here, so just hanging a couple of tree stands and putting some trail cameras out. Of course, anybody that's out there hanging tree stands during the summertime, make sure you're wearing a safety harness. I've got my hunter safety system on with my lineman's belt. If you guys aren't using one of these, you're crazy. Not only are you going to be a lot safer while you're doing this, it makes it a lot easier when you've got both your hands free and you can use the lineman's belt. So I'm going to go ahead and get the Lone Wolf unpacked and hang this stand. Hopefully it's fairly well trimmed out still from last year, and move on to the next one. This stand is set. As you guys can see, we got our lifeline installed, and anybody that's not using this should really think twice about putting these in every tree. I know, it can get a little expensive if you got a lot of tree stands, but I don't think there's anything that's worth the peace of mind that you get from being strapped in from the time you leave to climb up and then climb all the way back down after your hunt. You can see the one I'm using has got 2 carabiners on it. We like to film a lot, so we usually will hang a cameraman set. That way both the hunter and cameraman can both be attached. But you can see how simple it is to use. I'm strapped into the tree right now. All I'm trying to do is step down. And if I was to fall right there, this is gonna catch me and stop me from falling all the way to the ground. It's literally that easy. It doesn't take you any longer to get up or down the tree when you're climbing up and down, and you can be safe. Make sure you're gonna make it home after your hunt. So the only thing you gotta keep in mind for you guys that are using this product is just tie it off at the bottom of the tree. That way when you're going up and you're yanking on it, it's not loose, it's nice and tight. That way as you're going up, you just slide it up ahead of you as far as you can and climb up the tree. Like I said, it's an invaluable tool. I think everybody should be using it. So we're gonna get unhooked here. We're gonna tie this sucker off and move on to the next stand. All right, well, it's the morning of July 8th. We finally got a little bit of cooler weather. I tell you what, it's been in the hundreds here, literally for the last 3 or 4 days in northern Illinois. It's been so hot that we just haven't even bothered to go out in the woods, but we finally got new batteries. We got fresh SD cards. We're gonna go put these stealth cams out. We're gonna see what shows up. This particular farm that I'm on is pretty small, so I only am gonna run 2 cameras on it. I've only got 2 tree stands here. It's a spot that we usually only hunt during the rut. I don't think the deer live here, but they do like to pass through here, and we get some pictures of some giant bucks here every fall. So hopefully this fall we're gonna catch up with one of them. So let's hit the woods, get some cameras out so we can get home. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna use this tree right here, which kind of faces, I guess, northeast. I always like to try to face my cameras north for the most part because you don't get so much sun flare. And it seems like when you're in this kind of dense woods, you get a lot of changing light, but it seems like if you face it north, you get the least amount of like false triggers, I guess. So we're gonna go ahead and just get this guy strapped onto here. That should about do us, I think. I was out walking through the woods, putting out a camera, and lo and behold, found a shed antler. Actually, you don't find too many shed antlers in July, but this one happened to be right in the trail that I was walking on. And the cool part about this is it's a really nice 2-year-old deer that we were watching last year that we were hoping made it through the winter. We were pretty sure that he did. We had a ton of trail camera photos of him, literally from, I think, October all the way up until January or February. We watched this buck. He was a good solid 2.5-year-old. If he's around this year as a 3-year-old, he's probably going to be somewhere in the 130s. You know, honestly, he's probably going to be one of the bigger deer on this particular farm. So if we get a shot at him, we're probably going to take it. You know, we're not ultra picky. We're not holding out for, you know, 5- and 6-year-old deer, you know, that are 160, 170, 180 inches. Honestly, if I tried to hold out for those types of deer on the farms that I have to hunt, I would never fill my tag because they just aren't here. So you know what, you got to be realistic. If you got a good 3-year-old and you're looking to fill your tag and he's a 130-inch deer and he's going to make you happy, absolutely shoot him. So kind of cool. You don't find too many sheds in July. So we're going to go ahead and grab a couple cameras. We're going to head out in the woods, get these set out so we can get home and enjoy the rest of our weekend. So let's get to it. Looks like they just cut this field. I'm sure they're going to come in and bale it up in the next couple days, but I'm really thinking that a lot of the deer, summertime, not a lot of food in this area, are coming out to these hay fields to feed. So I want to put a camera here. The problem is, as you can see behind me, most of my trees are set pretty far back off the field edge, right? Which means it's hard for me to get a camera on one of those trees and cover the field. That's where the stick and pick really comes in handy. Literally all you do is you take this thing, attach your camera to it, shove it into the ground, set your height. You can set the tilt on it if you're on kind of a hill, and you're done. As you can see, I spray painted mine over the winter time, kind of gave it a little bit of a camouflage. I also spray painted my trail camera. Hey, I was bored. It was the off season. All right, we are in. And that's pretty much it. And you are done. I mean, literally it's that easy. So obviously we got our camera here. There's no trees around. It's fairly well blended in, camouflage. We're gonna turn it on, cover this alfalfa field, and you know, hopefully we get some pictures of a few velvet bucks. You know, guys, tree stand safety is something that is no joke. Everybody that hunts from an elevated position should absolutely be wearing a safety harness at all times. And if you can afford those lifelines, they really are a great device. They give you a lot of peace of mind when you're out in the woods, and they're going to make sure that you're going to be able to return home after every hunt. Now, with that said, I did get a couple trail cameras out, and fortunately enough, I've had one of my better summers so far at getting some of the bucks on camera that I want to shoot this fall. You know, on that particular piece of property out there in northwestern Illinois, we've got 3 different bucks that we want to shoot. One of them is a buck that we call Strahan. He was a 2-year-old that we had a great encounter with last year. He's a beautiful 3-year-old this year, probably pushing 140 inches as an 8-point. I've got 2 other bucks that showed up that I don't know who they are, but they're great deer. I'd say one of them's in the mid 140s. One of them's definitely going to push over 150, and a couple of great bucks we're hoping to catch up with this fall. Now here closer to home, at the spot where I killed my buck Little Mac a couple of years ago, I actually had 2 really nice bucks show up on trail camera, which is very unusual for the summertime. One of them is actually a buck that I had a couple encounters with last year. He was a 7-point, real broken up rack. This year he actually turned into an 8-pointer, real nice 3-year-old. The other one looks to be about 140-inch 8-point. It's got a bunch of junk on his bases. You know, I got some great stealth cam images of those deer, so I'm hoping come October we're gonna have a bunch of targets that we're going to be able to chase and hopefully put some nice deer on the ground. Next up, we're going to check in with Todd Graff and Tyler Rector as they both give us an update on some of the real nice bucks they're going to be chasing this fall.
I'm extremely optimistic about this year's hunting season. I've got 3 different bucks that are on my hit list, and the best news of all is now that sweetness has been harvested, I can change my hunting strategy and go after some of these different bucks that we've been letting go. The first buck on my hit list is definitely Stickers. It's a good looking deer. We know that he's at least 3.5 years old. Good main beams, nice looking deer. We've got several trail camera photos of him, and I'm definitely going to be looking out for him this year. The second buck on my hit list is Hook. Hook has been around for now at least 2 years that I know of. Good quality deer. He's got good mass, nice and wide. Found his sheds this year, and I'm really hoping that he put on some mass, and this year he'll easily be in the 150, 160 caliber. And my last buck, I haven't named him yet. I only have 1 photo of him. The good news is the buck is hanging out in an area that I harvested some deer in the past. One thing's for sure, I know he's in the 150 caliber. He's a good looking deer, Best of all, he's in an area that I've harvested a lot of deer of, and I know the area well. So those stands come this fall, I know are perfectly suited for where this deer is hanging out. I just got to cross my fingers and hope that he stays in that area. Now, if you've got bucks that you're chasing, we want to see those photos. Go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/bowhunting and upload your photos, because we're going to put them in the future episodes.
Well, here we are. It's July 27th, 2012. Kind of doing a hit list for BowHunt or Die, the web show. Got a couple nice bucks from last year. This one we call Picket Fence, mainly because his tines look like a fence. He's a perfect 6x6 with a splidgy 2 or 3 on his left. I think it's just 2. Probably going to be pushing 170 this year as a 5-year-old, so kind of anxious to see him on the hoof. We got another buck. Call him Stud Muffin, mainly because he's a 2.5-year-old deer. He's got 9 points on this one side, and this side scored 72 or 3 inches, I can't remember now. So this year he ought to be close to Boone and Crockett as a 3-year-old, which is a shooter to most, but I would love to see him get to 4 and 5, just because he's got the potential to be, I mean, something really world class. You talk like a 3-year-old 170. I mean, by age 5, he might be in the 210 to 215 range if he get that kind of potential. Sky's the limit on how big he could really get here in Illinois. So he hasn't shown up on the trail camera pictures yet, but he might be out there now. It's hard to tell. Got another buck I'm really excited about. Call him the Godfather. This is the only shed that I have from him, and I found this last year actually early February. I found it all chewed up. I don't know if it got knocked off fighting or if he just lost it early. Couldn't find the other side for the life of me. I looked everywhere. This year he has blown up into about 180-inch 8-point with some kickers. I'd say as a slick 8, he's probably pushing 170. He's got matching splidgy 2s on both sides. Big bald ends still, so he's either going to grow into a 10-point or hopefully he keeps as an 8 and his main beam just gets super long and he turns into a world-class 8-pointer. So ought to be an interesting October. Hopefully we have success like we did last year. I killed 2 really nice bucks, and hopefully we get some big bone on the ground early. Like I said, I'm going to go after the Godfather probably first, because he's I'm getting more pictures of him. Cactus Jack's on the hit list. I've only got 2 pictures of him all year, the same day, and he hasn't shown back up yet, so don't know where he's at for sure. I'm hoping somebody didn't poach him already. It's kind of early for that, but a lot of that goes around here, it seems like. So hopefully he's hiding out somewhere and just hasn't walked in front of my trail cameras yet. So hopefully we have a good season, and we'll be in touch with BowHunt or Die. We're gonna sit on this bean field. Everybody's planting corn on corn around here anymore, and this is about the only bean field within about a 5-mile stretch, so all the deer have been coming to it. There's a public road right in the middle of them, so probably see a lot of vehicles. We're gonna spray down this B-Tech from Tinks. Try to be as scent-free as possible. Wind's perfectly wrong, but it's too nice of an evening not to go try to get a big buck on film.
Man, Tyler's got some really great bucks on his stealth cams down there in central Illinois. One thing is for sure, that guy is living in deer hunting paradise, and if he doesn't at least have an opportunity to kill a big buck this fall, something is wrong. Now next up, we're going to introduce you guys to a couple of brand new team members. It's a husband and wife couple, Alex and Linsdey Hiestand from Michigan. Now these two Michigan natives, you know, they live and they hunt a little bit in Michigan, but they primarily do a lot of hunting down on their family farm in Ohio, so they're going to give us an update on some of the bucks they're going to be after come fall.
Getting ready for the 2012 season. We've been doing some filming.
I've been doing some filming.
Yeah, I've been a little busy with my other business, but I've been hoping to get out there soon in the next month. We're going to be headed to Ohio, so I'm going to definitely make time for that.
Yeah, so far I've made it out twice. Had quite a few different 8-points out in the field. Not many of them have cooperated too much. See them out in the field a long ways away. Don't have good enough zoom to really get in close on them. But last night I finally had a group of 3 bucks, 2 8s, and a really nice 9-point come out. And they came to within 45 yards. Couldn't wait to go home and show Lindsay. She was super excited, so yeah. You never know what's going to happen. Get as much film as we can and see if we can't put a tag on one of them come early season. So we'll see. But
Ohio's next. We're really excited. We're hoping to get a lot of good footage down there. In a couple of weeks we're headed down that way.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We've got some big bucks down there.
Yeah.
You just never know what's going to show up on that farm. So we know the trail cameras are out there. So we can't wait to go check them and see. Maybe get a little video. We got 1 buck, no tail. He is. We've watched him grow up since he was a fawn. He doesn't have a tail. Been easy to watch him his whole life. 5.5 this year. He's a basic 8-point. Not going to score real good, but that doesn't matter to us. So
it's going down.
A lot of character to him, and hopefully he's going down.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So kind of excited. So stay tuned, and yeah, you never know.
Well, it looks like Alex and Lindsay have got some great bucks on their trail cameras. I know they've been able to harvest some good ones in the past, so we're crossing our fingers and hoping that this fall they're going to be able to connect with one of those good bucks. Hey, once again, we want to take the time to thank the people who sent in their trophy photos for this week's show. Jeff Ruslow, Douglas Bobbitt, and Jeffrey Lane. Hey, congratulations, guys. Those are some great trophies. Remember, if you want to see yourself right here in an episode of Bowhunt or Die, click on the Submit Your Trophy link in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, and we may feature one of your photos. Well, that's all the action we have for this episode of Bowhunt or Die. Now, you're definitely going to want to make sure you check back in a couple of weeks as we're going to bring you our final off-season episode before the hunting madness begins. Now, in this last episode, we're going to bring you some more updates on a few of the hit list bucks that our guys are chasing. One of those deer is a buck called Strychnine. It's a deer that Clinton Fawcett and Frankie Clark have been chasing around central Illinois for the last couple years. They have a ton of trail camera images of this deer. They've got a lot of encounters and some footage with them from a couple years ago, and it's an awesome story. You're not going to want to miss it, so make sure you check back right here on Bowhunt or Die.
In the meantime, don't forget to check out facebook.com/bowhunting for daily updates, news, photos, and other exciting information. We also want to hear your opinions and your stories, so join us now and like us on Facebook.
Hey everybody. Hey folks. Justin Zarr here, Bowhunt or Die. And you know, one thing that I want to talk about is how I'm really looking forward to eating some Chick-fil-A tonight. Delicious chicken sandwich. Maybe a peach shake. So good.